What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only. It's Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, it's Monday. We're back. It is the week before holidays, my friend. Are you ready for a little bit of a break?
Oh, I'm not even sure what to do with my time. We've talked about this a few times now. I'm burning through Halo and catching up on review games, so I don't know if I'll be able to stop.
That's funny, because I was going to ask, what were you doing this weekend? What were you playing?
Oh, yeah,
Halo.
I'm on Halo predominantly. There's another one coming up, Saijin. We're going to touch on that for review, but there's been quite a few games that have been caught my eye lately.
Awesome. Nate joins us live, just like you can, over at twitch.tv/theofficialITG, and says, "Morning, gentlemen." Good morning, Nate. As well as Inside the Game Official over on YouTube. If you can't join us live, that means you hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Dude, I hit a wall last night. I hit a big wall, and I was mad, and I shut my console off, because here's what happened.
Oh, no.
I am now 50 hours into Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Holy.
That's a fair chunk of time, right?
Oh,
I'm set out on a mission, and because the Odyssey and Assassin's Creed has gone to this RPG element now, right? Everybody's got levels and this, that, and the other. I'm on a story mission that's level 32. I get into a boss fight that the mission tells me is level 32. dude pops up. He's got level 40 above his head. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm swinging at him. And I was like, I might as well have used a feather. And just like, it did absolutely nothing. And I had to find an old save file because I couldn't get out of it. There's no way, dude. I couldn't beat. He's 8 levels above me. And when my swords aren't doing squat, I was mad, dude, and I shut it down. I jumped over to PlayStation. I was still mad. I shut that down, dude. I was so mad.
I fired up the Nintendo Switch just so I could turn that off too.
I was so mad, but dude.
Oh no, you have to come up with that Dark Souls. I know you've been avoiding it for a long time.
Absolutely have.
You just have to buckle down and get one fight out. The rest of the game will be easy after that.
Dude, it's one hit and I was dead and it was over. I'm like, man. I can't, my level's just not there. So I had to go out. I found a new save file and I'm going to eventually get back into it. But right now, I'm just a little irritated by that whole little situation. But what's not irritating is today's show because the next Splinter Cell game is stealthier than Assassin's Creed. It's because Assassin's Creed is not stealthy anymore. That's a whole other topic. Telltale Games are back, sorta, and Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 appears on Amazon. Scott, you ready to get going, buddy?
Yeah, well, I'm very excited for this first topic here.
It's going to be a lengthy one. Ubisoft's next Splinter Cell game will be a stealthier version of Assassin's Creed with open world elements. Rumors suggest the new game will be open world, similar to what 343 Industries did with Halo Infinite. This comes from Joa Silva over at TechSpot. In brief, the award-winning Splinter Cell impacted many gamers, offering a unique stealth experience many have tried to emulate. Even so, Ubisoft hasn't launched a new entry in the franchise since Blacklist in 2013.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
To think of when that was.
Dude,
Holy, 8 years ago.
It's certainly been a while. That could be changing soon, as rumors suggest a new open-world Splinter Cell game is in development. Oh, let's go. The first Splinter Cell title dropped in 2002 for Xbox, PC, Mac, PlayStation 2, GameCube? Really? And Game Boy Advance. Wow. Game Boy Advance got a Splinter Cell game.
Oh, okay. So I had all 3 of them on GameCube, and then I had the Game Boy to plug into. I didn't have the game. But if you've never done that, oh man, does it change the game? It's adding like a Switch screen in your palm plus the TV. Nice. It's kind of like that.
I started on PC. That's where I was playing Splinter Cell. Ubisoft went on to launch multiple other entries in the franchise for traditional gaming platforms and mobile, but all came to a halt in 2013 when the publisher launched Splinter Cell Blacklist. We still saw the occasional crossover in games like Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Wildlands, Rainbow Six, like the list goes on and on. He's popped up everywhere but his own game since. Rumors that the developer was making a new Splinter Cell have come and gone for a while. Ubisoft even stated the series would expand to Oculus through Red Storm Entertainment. We have yet to see anything on that title, by the way, but I'm still waiting.
Can you imagine?
Oh, dude, I can't wait.
Splinter Cell, dude, holy.
So to go off on a little side tangent, well, welcome to the show. Well, I actually purchased yesterday Hitman on PlayStation because it was like 60% off, and I'm going to play it in VR now.
Nice. Yeah, I'm very curious to hear about. Well, you might even want to save those thoughts for a small video segment, just because I'm very curious.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into it. Dude, it was 60% off. I'm like, this is a sweet deal. So I bought it for like $30. I'm like, I'm playing Hitman 3 in VR. This is going to be awesome. However, it looks like we will also get a more traditional installment, which is already in development. The new game is supposedly similar to Assassin's Creed, but more stealthy. In addition, it seems the new Splinter Cell will feature open world elements, similar to how Halo Infinite has done its open world. Considering most modern Ubisoft titles have an open world to explore, that's far from surprising. Based on what was said about the new Splinter Cell, it's already starting to look like Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain. Dude, that has me pretty excited. That might actually be a good thing, at least for those who like the Metal Gear. It was definitely a different twist. We won't talk about Survive. That doesn't count. No. But for this to go in an open world installment, Scott, has me skeptical, to the fact that how are they going to make sure, because Splinter Cell is a heavy based stealth game, right? Like, let's get back into stealth. Assassin's Creed, we've seen Assassin's Creed start that way, and where they've ended is nowhere near stealth. We talked about how Valhalla has you blow a horn when you go to a camp. Like, no, there's nothing stealthy about that.
Epitome of the stealth attack.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, here comes my foghorn. We're coming. Like, it's that's not stealthy. So that's just how that goes. But
I'm very curious to see how this will work out. But they're taking an interesting comparison to Halo, which is of course not anything like Assassin's Creed or Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
Other than you hold an item that makes loud noises. That's about the only comparison I can make. But think about Watch Dogs, and they could. So if they double, triple down on the sneaking in Watch Dogs, what kind of a world would that leave? Is that something that Sam Fisher could fit into? Open world doesn't provide much benefit in a Splinter Cell game to me, because I'm thinking of, there's no car chases. It's going to be silly.
Yeah, no, for sure, right? There's that. You know what else I kind of think of too is how I play Far Cry, right? I play Far Cry heavily stealth focused, and it has that big element within the game. You have the option to go in guns blazing, but Splinter Cell can then take some of that feature that they've taken and grown upon with Far Cry 6, and hopefully that will work out well for that scenario. I think that'd be a great addition, and I'm looking forward to having a new Splinter. Man, we've been waiting for a new Splinter Cell game for so long. Are you concerned though, Scott, that we're going to this open world formula instead of keeping on that linear path that we've used for so long? But Blacklist had like open elements, right? Like, it wasn't just from point A to point B.
Well, and Chaos 3 allowed you to change your loadout for kind of, assault or stealth. So I'm confident they'll have some of that option in there, but an open world is a big question mark. But to bring this back to a comparison with Halo handled it masterfully, where there is an open world and there's a lot to add to the Halo universe that way. But when you hit a location and you get into the mission, it's right back to what you'd expect from Halo 1 or 2. So I hope that they can kind of figure that out, where the main campaign is big enough, but it's just kind of carefully hidden under this world.
Do you think we'll get? So here's the problem with what Ubisoft faces when they go to these open worlds, right? Is that they jam a lot of stuff in there. Sometimes it's a little too much, or sometimes we get in the formula where we have to clear out a camp. We've got this now with Halo Infinite for the first time, right? Where we're taking over these FOBs. Are we going to get that situation here for Splinter Cell? Or are we going to have to somehow, climb a tower to open up a portion of the map and do the leap of faith like Assassin's Creed, right? Like, there's just certain things you kind of go, will this work? Will this not work?
I would be very excited by just an absolute explicit mashup.
Yeah.
Sam Ezio and Ivor, they all meet somewhere. How? And that's just it. It cuts to the next scene.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I am excited. I don't think we're gonna see this for a while yet. They're just rumors, so we'll see.
What about multiplayer? Do you think that's a possibility going forward?
Man, please bring back the multiplayer. Left?
Well, I meant co-op, but of course, Mercenary Spies, that could make a comeback.
Absolutely, right? They had Mercs versus Spies in Blacklist. They had co-op in Conviction. That was fantastic. I had a blast playing that in co-op, dude. And then they had Deniable Ops as well. Like, there's so many things here. Will they take some of the things that they've used in the past? Will they take those formulas, carry them over to the next game? Or are they just going to leave them out? Are we going to get a single player focused game only? Or are they going to implement anything from the multiplayer side? I hope they bring us some kind of multiplayer. We don't have a stealth multiplayer game like this. No longer do we have an Assassin's Creed multiplayer whatsoever.
That's just the one that's missing, really. Yeah,
that one's completely gone, right? Yeah, absolutely. Where you were able to blend in with your surroundings and all this other kind of stuff. Just completely vanished from the franchise altogether. Will they carry that with Splinter Cell? Oh, dude, fingers are crossed. I played Spies versus Mercs for so long when it launched, and it was awesome. Problem is, I was playing with randoms, and sometimes, we all know how randoms go. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not so good.
Yeah.
But
Scott, I think I only played 2 of those ever.
Oh, dude, it was so good.
I
Like, it was
missed it.
so good. But let's move on into the world of Telltale, because this is new. This is exciting. The Expanse, a new Telltale series announced, and it's being co-developed by Deck 9. This comes from Wesley LeBlanc over at Game Informer. Telltale has announced The Expanse, a Telltale series, and is co-developing the game with Deck 9, the studio behind this year's Life is Strange True Colors. Oh man. Revealed during the Game Awards 2021 by way of debut trailer, which I somehow missed. Dude, I think it was from when I went upstairs to downstairs, and I completely missed it. The Expanse is a prequel to the Amazon TV series of the same name, which itself is based on the Expanse novel series. Dude, I had no idea this even existed. Have you seen anything on the Expanse?
I have not actually watched it myself, but
Right.
I'm aware of it because of all the time I spent in Elite Dangerous. In Elite
Ah,
Dangerous, you get into that game, but then there's third-party things. You're on Facebook getting people to talk and play with you, and everybody likes to discuss things that are going on. The Expanse was the huge scientific kind of drama that was
right.
going on. And I know it is a very, very high caliber show. So to see that go into a Telltale kind of scenario has me pretty excited.
Absolutely. It says, quote, one of our driving forces is to empower other creative voices to tell their stories in the manner of previously genre-defining Telltale games, end quote. This comes from the CEO, Jamie Otelli, who writes in a press release. Quote, we are such fans of the work Deck 9 has done, and we're searching for an IP we could create stories in together. The Expanse is a rich world both studios are really excited to explore. Dude, if they could pull back somehow, because it was 2018, I want to say, Telltale vanished. They were gone. They shut down, right? It was just a matter of taking on one too many projects, and they kind of got in over their head, and things weren't kind of panning out. It was just, which is unfortunate because some of my favorite games came from Telltale.
Yeah, there's really none other like them.
No,
Not that I've
absolutely not.
experienced.
Nope. There's some close, like Deck 9 is right there, right? But there's still, man, like The Wolf Among Us, the
Dude,
Walking Dead
that
Telltale
one,
series.
The Wolf Among Us got me so good.
That's one I have to go back and finish. I got into, I think, episode 3. And then I was like, you're waiting for the next one, right? And then you're waiting for the next one.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, okay, now I bounced onto something else. And I was like, okay, what do we do? Where am I again? But they were really good at getting you caught up. Okay, previously on The Wolf Among Us or The Walking Dead, right? And it was, dude, I was heartbroken in 2018 when I heard that they were gone. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It was, yeah, man. So
I think that's about the time I started playing Wolf Among Us because it was complete. And it was after
yeah,
Telltale was everywhere and then kind of disappeared. And I thought, oh, well, meh. And then I played their game and holy, never mind, come back.
well, so I'm curious. Can Telltale make a comeback, Scott? They're new owners, right? They took the Telltale license, so that's what they're banking on, that name still. Does that name actually, generate with anybody? Does that mean anything to anyone now at this point? Or were they better off to make their own statement? Because now, dude, they're going to get compared to Telltale's previous works. Isn't that something they should be worried about? Or is this something that they can build off of instead?
It's definitely beneficial in terms of market share. So I think that's a good idea just off the start.
Sure.
But this really has to hit the mark. Otherwise, they'll lose that reputation very quickly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of a reputation, dude, there's none other than like Zelda, because Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 listing quietly appears on Amazon. Really? just out of nowhere? This comes from Victoria Phillips.
That takes one out of the sales of Walmart Canada.
That's right. This comes from Screen Rant's Victoria Phillips Kennedy. A new listing for the Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 appears on Amazon. The sequel to the Breath of the Wild, which is easily one of the best games probably ever made. And there's a reason why Nintendo never drops the price on that game.
Oh yeah, no, they will not.
Basically, her article went on to say that it got listed for December 31st, 2022. Dude, it's just a holding date. But, Scott, it's 2022. Dude, it's coming next year.
It can certainly be seen from this that that's possible. Because we haven't seen anything of it at all, there was a title screen once, and then there was what
There's a trailer
scene where guy jumps on a mountain. I don't know. It was very minimal. It wasn't too much shown or gameplay or anything like that. It makes me think it's still several years out. But
really.
when did Breath of the Wild come out? Now we must be getting on 4 years.
Yeah, I think it was 2017. Breath of the Wild was released in 2017. So
Okay.
Right, they've been on this now for a while, dude. I think we get it next year. I think it's coming. And it was funny because we were talking about this for this week's show, our most anticipated titles, and Corey brought up Breath of the Wild too, and we're like, but no one's heard anything about it, and all of a sudden this popped. I was like, Corey could have had it.
Oh, come on, Avowed. I'm waiting.
Yeah, good luck. But yeah, so there you go, Zelda fans. I'm speculating at this point that we will get Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 next year, which is, I think, huge. Because what else at this point, Scott, do Nintendo have in their lineup or games?
Yeah, well, there's Splatoon 3. I know that one's being worked on.
That's a good point.
That's a big deal.
It is,
but
for some.
Other than that, I'm not sure what Mario has in the future. They're a big lead, of course. We were teased Metroid Prime, but I don't think that's happening for another decade. But if they do put out Zelda again next year, I think you really have to close the doors on the on the Switch manufacturing. I think it's time for a Super Switch.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We were all waiting for it. Northern Nerdcast and Twitch says Bayonetta 3.
Oh, so that is a very good call. Yeah,
that's a huge title too, right, dude? If you can get Metroid Prime, Bayonetta 3, and Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, and Splatoon 3, that's not a bad year for Nintendo, considering, right?
Well, that would also be a very solid new console release
for your Super Switch. Just get us the Pro. Just give me the Switch Pro already. Come on. You got to think at this point, how much beneficial would this be for Bayonetta 3, Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, to have the next generation of hardware? Because they are so far behind. Now, not only were they far behind with the PS4 and the Xbox One, right? Now we're into Series X and we're in the PS5. They are like almost 2 generations behind now, but yet they still seem to lead. But I saw NDP. Yeah, MPD reports came in this morning, and there's 2 Mario titles on that list. So there's something, right? Like, what do you do? Do they really need another Switch? Probably never. But we'll see what I'm sure.
I think it's a lot like Skyrim and Grand Theft Auto, where if it keeps selling, there's not much need to change it up. I mean, from a marketing perspective.
No, for sure. Yeah, right. If it works, then why mess with it? So, but
you don't want to add to the race of getting all these semiconductors and get into that fiasco. I can understand that hesitancy.
Do you think that's why they're holding back? Is because of the shortage on parts that they don't want to put this out and be such a shortcoming in the ability to sell a new console?
I suspect that they're still not past prototyping, because I think we would have heard more about it, whether they were going to be slowed down or not.
I guess we'll see. We will see, Scott. What we'll see this week is Halo Infinite is finally getting a Slayer playlist. That's right. Also coming on this week is the already announced Fiesta, the FFA, and SWAT playlist as well. This comes from Zach over at Kotaku. 343 Industries has confirmed that Halo Infinite's next update on December 14th will add a Slayer playlist to the game's popular multiplayer mode, as well as a playlist for Fiesta, a free-for-all, and Tactical Slayer, aka SWAT. Plus, some welcome tweaks to the game's challenge system.
Yeah, they can't use SWAT anymore? What's up with that? Did Splitgate take it?
Shots fired. On Reddit today, 343 community director Brian Jared shared the good news via a post on the Halo subreddit. According to Jared, 4 new playlists are coming to Halo Infinite via that already mentioned December 14th update, with each new playlist dedicated to a specific and separate mode. The new playlists are Slayer, Fiesta, FFA, and Tactical Slayer, aka SWAT. The following news earlier this month that more modes were indeed coming via the new playlist, though at the time, Slayer was planned for next year. I guess we can consider this an early Christmas gift. According to Jared, the community's demand for a Slayer playlist led the team changing their initial plans. Originally, they were going to launch the deathmatch focus mode next year alongside numerous variants. However, based on feedback from players, the team is adding a bare bones Slayer mode on December 14th, though the team still plans to add more variants next year. Scott, 343 is heavily invested into its community and listening every step of the way and changing things on the fly. That is how you keep your community invested and alive.
Oh, yeah. No, that is extremely positive. That's really the only way I think it should go going forward. You've put this giant package together. Let's see it through. But I'm really left with questions as to why this didn't happen before launch. I know there's been delays. I know
really?
It went into beta and came out early, but we're talking about matchmaking playlists. Is that very complicated? I'm obviously not a developer.
I'm gonna say yes.
343. If you look at what they did with the Master Chief Collection, though, you can search any or all or any mixture of custom selection. You know, it was really good and advanced. So it was oddly lacking here.
Well, I think,
and then there's challenges with specific game types. It seems like it's more necessary now than it was.
I think they had a heavy focus on getting the multiplayer out for the 20th year anniversary and then getting the release of the main game, the campaign, out on time as well, so they can hit this holiday season, and then we'll roll in. It's almost like Fortnite launching it as a beta, dude, and they just keep iterating, right? I think that's kind of the formula they're taking because it works. Honestly, it really, really works. But Scott, we're getting late in the show. What game announcements and releases do we have for today? We got a cool release or announcement. I'm excited for this.
Yes. Rebellion today has announced that marksman Carl Fairburn has his eyes set on destroying Operation Kraken in France and has locked in on a 2022 release date for Sniper Elite 5.
Yes, dude. Yes. I went back, downloaded Sniper Elite 4. My brother and I are going to start it from start to finish in co-op. I can't wait.
Nice. Oh, man, co-op. I want to play that so bad. All right, well, if he's not online, you let me know.
All right, will do.
We also have a full release today, and that is Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. That's on the Switch, PlayStation 4, and PC. I'm always happy to see more Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight for Smash.
That's, I'm really shocked that they're not there. Like, they aren't there at all, are they?
No, they really aren't. There's Plague Knight, Shovel Knight. They could have fit in there. Shield Knight, Hollow Knight for extra points. You know, there's a lot of
there's a lot of this, that, and the
Soccer,
other.
I would like to speak to you.
What? We're gonna have to speak tomorrow, Scott, as today is over. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at Inside the Game Official. If you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew, that's Scott. We'll see everybody tomorrow inside the game.